Good evening, everyone, and welcome once again to the place to be each and every Sunday night, where tonight we're coming to you live and exclusive on Top Split TV for round 8 of Sunday Night Lights, where we are at the great Nordschleife. I'm your host, Alex McKellar, and joining me once again is the chaotic one, Mr. Corey Steinhauser. Corey, big night of racing ahead at the big track known as the Green Hell.
Exactly right, Alex. The longest track in iRacing, the longest track that we visit here on the Skippy schedule, and it should be an absolutely cracking race if the warm-up race was anything to go by. Lots of action throughout this track, lots of high speed, low speed, mid-speed, whatever speed you want. This track has got it, and we are in store for a big race here, Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. We got, what's that, about 18 of the best drivers going around joining us once again. Did you happen to pick up the strength of field here tonight, Corey? Because I can't see it.
I'm getting strength of field as a 38.21, Alex, which, if my calculations are correct, puts it up there as possibly the biggest one for the week.
Yeah, absolutely was, Corey. Big numbers come out to play here at the Nordschleife. Not everyone up to the challenge though, but we have got a good crew here tonight. Some of our regulars, as well as some newcomers as well. Those like Jay McCabe from ANZ. He's joining us for the first time. Great to see Team Milo's own Paul Beatty out there in the 15 car. He's done some laps around here this week, Corey.
Yeah, that's right, Alex. With it being a big track, there is a lot of track that you've got to learn and a lot of track that you've got to get re-familiar with if you are inexperienced or just can't quite remember it because you're a little bit old. Not a dig at Beatty in any way, shape or form, but definitely a hard track to try and keep in the memory banks, as I think practice is now just finished. So it's just about time for us to get the grid going.
Yeah, but do it quickly. He's only got 60 seconds. Håkon Grebstad on pole for Team Ovaltine, followed by Sebastian Schultz. Benny Simonson, our current series leader, off P3. George Matsushinsky joins us again out of P4. Tom Bridle for Delta VCM Racing out of 5th. Martin, he's out of P6. Russell Clark for Team Milo, he's out of P7. John Scholtz also for Team Milo out of 8th. P9 tonight, Martin Booker. Anthony Jones for Team Torpedo out of P10. ANZ's Brett McBurney back for another crack out of P11. P12 tonight, Lee Anderson from UK and I. If we go over to the round out of grid, Paul Beatty out of 13th. Yoshitaka Tsunada out of 18th. Car 18 out of 14th. Jay McCabe 15th tonight. Alberto Trenado out of P16. Andreas Fori from 17th. Tobias Ronner out of 18th. As we get ready to go. Oh, we better grab the front. That's a terrible camera angle. We got it done in time though, Corey. Pretty happy with that. As the red lights make way for the green, and we are away on the first of 3 laps as the drivers round turn 1. I tell you what, if you can survive this opening sector or so, Corey, you're odds on to have a pretty good race typically, wouldn't you say?
Well, that would be exactly right, Alex, but there are still certain parts of the track that can catch you out, especially while the tyres aren't quite up to temperature. I'm talking about maybe, I think it's around about sector 4 or 5, the high-speed area that goes into the first really technical section. And, it's an area that can throw cars off. There's actually a big tree that used to be in that area with some roots that grow under the track and cause a big bump. Which the track does have. They've smoothed that down in real life, but at the moment, Håkon Grebstad, I do believe, is still in the lead of this race after starting from the pole. Got Sebastian Scholes right behind him with Benny Simonson sitting there in 3rd. So it's all going to be on Håkon to try and maintain this lead. I mean, there's only 3 laps, but they're 3 very long laps, Alex.
Yeah, 160 plus corners around here for these guys to grapple with as we're on this opening really long stretch here. Very tricky left-hander coming up, of course. Brave to hold flat there, particularly on that one as you come into this downhill braking section. 3rd gear right Horner. Håkon Grebstad leading them away. He'll be looking to continue his great form at the Nordschleife. Pretty handy around here is Mr. Grebstad. Done a few laps as well as this tight pack behind. I tell you what, there isn't much of a gap anywhere in the field. Martin is the sole guy hanging off the back there. Trinado hasn't kicked off. Martin's about 35 seconds off the pace at this stage. Oh, I tell you what, it's single file around here. There really is only one racing line, and they're making using every bit of it, I should say, in the mid-pack there. But jumping back up front, what have we got? 2, 4, 6 cars looking to break away. John Scholz is just on the draft of his team boss, Russell Clark, ahead of him on this second pack now. Question is, can he bridge that gap, which is just over that magic 1.1 seconds, which means we might have a racing 6 up the front developing, Corey.
Well, we very well could, Alex. And around here, with us heading into these slightly more technical sections, draft is not going to mean too terribly much because you can't get too much speed going. So it'll be up to John to try and utilize some late braking and try and catch back up to the back of his team boss there and Clark. We'll have to wait and see if that'll work out for him, because if he can get close enough, that big back straight after the second carousel is definitely going to be very beneficial to him.
Absolutely. Now, as we jump back up the front, we've got Simpson's managed to get past here. We did miss a crash early on. Sonata has had a crash apparently. Although he's only 6 seconds back. So I wonder if we can grab a replay and see Sonata. Where is he? Doesn't seem to have lost much. No, just a mistake in the telemetry. We're all good. We might... oh, there it is. Nose into the barrier. That'll do it every single time. Lost about 6 seconds off the back of the train, though, and although he is starting to drop like a stone. As we jump back up front now, we've got Simonson in behind Gripstead. This should be a great race. We've seen Simonson and how well he goes at most tracks. All this side-by-side up the hill. This is a curved section, as you can see on the screen at the moment, but it is flat out in these skips. As we see Schultz now looking to go past as well. Will the double draft work here? Oh, there's no bump drafting in these cars, side-by-side, 3 wide. This kick now dropped down into 4th gear. Oh, I tell you what, they managed to get through. It's Team Milo boss man Clark. He's going backwards. That's the wrong way, Rusty. Please. That's not the way to do it. Let's go have a look at that.
I do believe that might have been with contact from Tom Bridle there as well, Alex. So very animated Russell Clark on the radio that I heard.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can't grab a better replay of that. If I can find the right button. Let's go back a bit. Rewind. As we come through the curve now. Yeah, look into the rear. The 8-car Tom Bridle, yeah, that's not going to make the boss man happy there, I don't think, as he's now sitting in the pits. And we go back to our live pictures. Back up the front, we've got Grebstad, Schultz, Simonson out in front with Matsusinski, and it's now almost a pack of 4. They got it's only 7/10. Back to Bridle in P5, so we should have a pack all the way down to P10, Corey.
And that is incredible for a track like this, Alex, as my view is actually blocked by some of the trees that make up the scenery of this track. They don't call it the green hell for nothing. It's not just hell for the drivers, it's hell for us broadcasters as well. But it's really surprising that the gap is so small, considering this is such a big and expansive track. And it is so easy to gain advantage in the slower sections to where you can start getting away towards these medium sections and really open up the gaps. So if we can stay with a big pack like we've got right now, and even maybe possibly have them all close up a little bit, it's going to be very interesting come time we get onto that back straight, because that back straight is a drafting driver's dream.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll tell you what, the strategy in here is it's so comfortable sitting behind someone in draft. There's really only very few places to overtake, barring mistakes. But, just showing the nose here or there can really unsettle the guy. And in front of you or in and around you, and that's where where people can come unstuck here around this place, where there really is only a couple of places to overtake. As we go through the second carousel this time round, solid in third gear, you're flat out of there into fourth gear. You do not lift until the braking zone into the last couple of corners. The rear steps out a bit here, arcing out back in to take the last apex onto the run of this long straight. You could fly 6 747s down this joint, I reckon. It's that long, and it's a double and triple draft pass threat around here as well. As we see Grebstad go past for the lead, we'll no doubt see Seb Schultz in a moment stick with him and go past. The guy in third's probably in the best position coming onto the straight, but I tell you, it's not unheard of for the guy in fifth to win it, Corey.
Well, that's right, Alex, and just because you might be in first coming onto this straight doesn't mean you're completely at a disadvantage either, because as we can see here with Håkon Grebstad, he just got drafted past, and now he's getting himself back into the lead of this. And we go 3 wide for second at the left-handed kink. I think Schultz had his right tyres in the grass there ever so slightly. Very close quarters racing, and this is where it starts to get a little bit sketchy and dangerous, Alex.
How are those images through there? You got all the way down to P8, fanning across, taking different lines through that closing stages of lap 1. And I tell you what, they've just done an 8:07 from a standing start. That's not bad around here. That's a fair clip in anyone's money, but I reckon we'll go a bit faster than that before the night's out too. But look, that was spectacular vision of 8 cars trying to navigate and negotiate their way through that final sector. You won't see terribly many more shuffles for position on this lap, no doubt. It'll all come down again to shuffling the deck in that last sector, depending on how they run up that back straight as well. But look, fascinating to see how the strategy unfolds here tonight, Corey.
Well, that's right, Alex, and that's what I said, just because you might be leading coming onto that straight and they draft past you does not mean that you're going to be out of the race. That one straightaway is where everything is made or broken, and that's where you can gain so much or you could lose it all in one small little moment, as we saw last season with Håkon. He was in a great position on that back straight, and he had someone boxed in on his left, and disaster happened for Håkon when the guy on his inside stepped out and pushed Håkon aside. As now we see Simonsen trying to effect an outside pass going along this straight. I call it a straight, but it does have a couple of corners in it. But Håkon very wisely on the inside there at the kink, managing to hold on to the lead from Simonsen. And Simonsen has been on some red-hot form here lately, Alex. It's going to be hard to count him out of the victory here.
Yeah, 100%. And behind him, though, the battle between Schultz has dropped off. Skoltzy's dropped off the back there. It's Booker, Matsushitsky and Jones, Team Torpedo's sole representative here tonight, really starting to battle through that right-hander, third-gear right-hander at the end of that first long section. Now as we come up the hill, back down into second gear for this left-hand and right-hand combination. Closest thing to a chicane you've got on this track, I'd suggest, as we run down this another long downhill section into fifth gear. Lift a little bit as you come through the right-hand kink, just about to come through now. Maybe hold flat if you're brave, but I'm certainly not brave enough, I can tell you. And then you come down into this twisty downhill section once again. A lot of elevation changes in this track, as well as obviously the 160-plus corner, so plenty to keep you on your toes as you go around here.
Well, that's right, Alex. And as I said, with the general mix of all the 3 different types of corners between the high speed, the low speed, and the medium speed corners, it definitely keeps you busy as a driver. I went out and did a few practice laps earlier, and it's amazing not only how much of the track I remembered, but how much of the track I forgot. And as I said, you only get 3 laps in a race here, so you really got to put the laps in on practice to really get back to grips with the track. And the fact that these guys are going so quickly, 8:07s on the first lap, that you said, that is incredible.
Yeah, absolutely.
I couldn't even do that on warm tyres.
Anthony Jones making a bit of a mistake coming through one of the earlier sections here has really opened up a bit of a gap. We're talking about a 1.2, 1.3 second gap, led now by Tom Bridle, that secondary pack. Oh, I'm not sure they'll be able to bridge that gap. You've got Grebstad on the front of Simonson and Schultz. We could be on a breakaway here of 3 cars. I wonder if these 3 will work together here. Simonson going around the outside in the early stages, uphill straight section, or curvy straight you might call it. And what are they doing behind here? Side by side they go. These guys really need to work together on this section. No 3 wides here. Oh, the 4 car of Matsushitsky. He's made it 3 wide. That's not how to go through here quickly, boys. Compromised lines throughout. They're still 3 wide up the hill. The 4th gear kick coming up. They've got it kind of sorted, have they? Yes, they have. With Matsushitsky now, he's on the front of this little pack here. Have they bridged the gap? In amongst all that, they've even bridged the gap, Corey, if you can believe it. I'll eat my hat if that's a way to bridge the gap quickly around this joint. But they come through the 2nd gear right-hander at the end of all that on the approach to the first carousel, and somehow 3 wide up the back straight works to bridge a gap, Corey. That's something I've not seen before.
No, that's not something that I've seen before, but you and me both know, Alex, sometimes if you get side by side with someone, the side draft can actually be more effective than being nose to tail. We found that one out doing some oval races in the Skippies a while ago, and I thought, that might not have been a thing anymore with a couple of the updates that came in, but apparently it's still there and it's still pretty strong. At the moment, it's still Grebstad in the lead from Simonson and Schultz. And Matsushitsky is still just right there in 4th, just biding his time at the moment. I reckon everyone now is just going to be calm through this area, which also includes the old YouTuber corner. It's not YouTuber corner anymore because they got banned. But everyone's going to be waiting it out for that long runway of a straightaway again, Alex.
Yeah, 100%. I'll tell you what, Jones is putting all sorts of pressure on Matsushitsky, who seems to have been great up the back straight, 3 wide there, but struggling through some of the more technical sections here. And he's now, what's that, about 3/4 of a second behind that lead pack. But I tell you what, the runway will be coming up soon, and that might sort him out as well. But Matsushitsky now, yeah, look, he's about a second behind and falling. They're at risk of losing these guys. Grebstad, as we know, through the final third of this track grows an extra leg, as he's already half a second ahead of Simonson at this stage, with Schultz now tucked in behind Simonson's tailpipe. Grebstad, Schultz in the background. That if you're going to go onto the grass, that's one place to do it, and you can survive now through this 5th gear corner now into the 3rd gear left-hander. Use all of the track on exit. Out of this, as we said, out of this 2nd carousel, you are flat until the braking section at the penultimate corner there. So, again, sweeping through this 4th gear right-hander. The double come back for that 2nd apex. And then hold on to your seats and your hats, folks. Here we go. Longest straight in the known universe. What roll of the dice will happen at the end of it, Corey?
Well, I'm not sure, Alex, but at the moment it looks like Simonson is going to make an early move for the lead. Schultz is sticking in his draft. See Bridle as well in the background, going to make a move on Matsushitsky and possibly Anthony Jones as well. As in the foreground, sorry, it looks like now Schultz trying to make a run at the lead, and here comes Håkon Grebstad back up his inside as well. It's never over until the end of the straight, where we will get our 1 to go, but these guys are still side by side, not 3 wide this time, which is a little bit of a relief, but it's still fairly tame racing here for our top 7, Alex.
Interestingly, if the cars fall out the way they look like they might be going to again, Grebstad will lead the 3rd lap. 8:04 with an 8:03.8 for Seb Schultz. Draft assisted, no doubt, all of them, but still an 8:03 around here this season. We're not quite as quick as we have been in previous seasons, but certainly an 8:03 purple lap is nothing to sneeze at. Grebstad showing once again, to your point, Corey, that coming into that runway of a straight to close out the lap first isn't necessarily the worst thing if you strategically line it up correctly. But my guess is, Corey, the gloves will be off through that final sector this time round, assuming everyone makes it.
Well, that's right, Alex. And as we learnt from last season, everyone generally stayed pretty calm throughout the entire first 2 laps. It was only when we got to that straightaway on the final lap that everything really started kicking off. And that's where we started seeing some crashing and some accidents happen. Hopefully we don't get any crashes this time. We're not going to guarantee anything, obviously, but at the moment, for the lead around the outside goes Sebastian Schultz on Håkon Grebstad. And now here comes our one-plated Benny Simonsen looking to the inside of Håkon as well. He's not going to get there over the hump. Coming into the right-hander, and it looks like Håkon trying to get the lead back in this right-hander that starts the downhill spiral before we start going back uphill again. Hard, fast, close racing, and the gloves are definitely off now, Alex.
Tell you what, fastest part of the circuit at the bottom of this hill here, side by side, our leaders go. Grebstad stamping his authority, saying, I will lead this, thank you very much. And we see Jones now on the back of this leading trio, making it a quad, what do you call it, a quadrangle? Anyway, 4 of them, they're up the front. Jones up 6 positions, if you don't mind, to sit in P4 with just under a second's gap. He's gapped Bridle there, sitting in P5. There's another battle going on. Brett McBurney is leading a pack of about 3 there, as you can see, between himself, Lee Anderson in the Puce-powered machine, and John Scholz. Further back down to some 5 seconds behind, you've got Rona and Beatty out for his most recent jaunt in the top split. James McKay sitting there in 13th, having a lonely race, as is Andreas Forey. Forey up 3 positions down in 14th, but all on his Pat Malone there. Martin, he's on his own after an early incident. Sonata, as we saw, had a rough run. He had a pit stop to get repaired, as did Clark. And we've got Trinado, who never actually started the race. Meanwhile, we'll jump back up front, and we are, in fact, still a battle of 4. Bridle is about a second behind, but we've shown that you can bridge that gap up this uphill back straight. That they've got this short section now, short run into the downhill braking zone. 3rd gear right-hander onto this uphill section coming up, Corey. Early days, but do you have your money on anyone at this stage?
Well, the consistency of Simonsen cannot be ignored, although he did just lose his nose cone on the back of Sebastian Schultz. And it looks like most of the body's come back to him, but the nose is still gone. But I don't think I can go away from Håkon at the moment. He won the previous race, the warm-up race to this one. He's looking pretty strong, and he's actually started to build a small little gap over Anthony Jones, who's just made his way into 2nd. So it's going to be a tough battle. I think it's going to be between Anthony and Håkon, in all honesty. But my personal favourite would have to be Håkon for this one.
Well, Grebstad out to a bit of a gap at the moment. Not that there is much, about half seconds. We see, up the inside. We're riding on board with Simonsen. Up the inside goes Anthony Jones, the team torpedo driver, saying, I'll have a bit of the lead, thank you. Simonsen patiently sitting as we ride on board with him now. Right-hander come up into the uphill braking zone now on the approach to the first carousel out of this one. 2nd gear, give it some well out the hill. Looks like Simonsen's either happy to just sit here through the twisty sections, or perhaps, Corey, he's got the later stages in mind on that long back hill, that straight on the run to the finish there. But I tell you what, we're back to a pack of, what's that, 7 cars back to Booker. Oh, how many wide do you reckon on that final straight we're going to see?
Oh, I think we will definitely get at least 1 4 wide at some point. It might only last a fraction of a second, but at some point they will definitely go 4 wide, 3 wide guaranteed. But at the moment, coming down through this final section, which, as I said earlier, does include the YouTuber corner. I think it's just after the next right-hander, if my calculations are correct, which they're probably not because I'm terrible at calculating. But at the moment, Hawkon's still showing great pace right now. He's got 0.9 of a second over Anthony as we're coming into the YouTube corner right now. And he could very well break away from the pack and render the draft null and void here, Alex.
I'll tell you what, he's out to about a second, and this is where he grows that extra leg that we've been talking about. Grebstad now, he's out to, just that 1 second margin. And I tell you what, there'll be some people queuing up behind the Team Torpedo driver of Anthony Jones in the 11 car. Oh, there'll be some antsy guys in their helmets sitting behind him now as they're watching that gap. Oh, it's back down to 9/10. He's going to hang on by the looks of it. But I tell you what, Grebstad thinking he's half a chance at this stage, Corey.
Well, he very well should, Alex. I mean, as I said earlier, he did win the warm-up race to this one. So he would be full of all the confidence that you would want your driver to have coming into this race. And everyone behind just stacking up behind Anthony there. No one wanting to make a move too early as we head into the second carousel. And just about onto the runway that we call the final straight. Anthony's gone off the track. He's just fallen from second and he's going to be all the way back in probably 7th by the time we get to the straightaway. So this is going to be advantage Hawkon, but it's still only 0.8 of a second, Alex.
Strategic off track? I don't think so. He may want to be 3rd or 4th, but he didn't want to be 0.6 off the back of the front 4. Here we go, folks. This is where it's all decided. You got Simonson now up to 3rd place in behind Scott Schultz. Oh, they're already 3 wide. Can they make it 4? Tom Bridle now tucked in behind the 1 car. I wonder if there's any bump drafting. Oh, I don't think so. 4 wide, we've got it. Can we get 5? Oh, there's contact in the rear. Off he goes. That's, oh, who did that drop? We lost Jones, I think, did we? Yes, we did. No. We'll keep going here, folks, as we watch out the closing stage of this race. 3 wide they go. Can they make it 4? Do I hear 4? Do I hear 5? The auction's still going here, folks. 3 wide. Oh, a bit of grass there for Simonson. This is where we'd see it. Oh, well done. They avoided that curve on the inside. That can kick you out. Grebstad in the box seat. Oh, runs a little bit wide there. No contact. Simonson probably had to lift. It's Grebstad taking out a fantastic victory here tonight from Simonson and Bridle. Fantastic drive there from Grebstad. Doesn't he know as well? Look at him. Oh, he hits the wall in celebration. McBurney now leading out that tertiary pack there to take his spot at the end of the race. I want to go back and see where that accident was. I think it was Jones who crashed. Yes, it was. Let's go and have a look and see what happened there. There's my button. Oh, he's just... Is that a net code? Let's just go back again and have another look. I think if I can get it at the right spot. Oh, Jones has come across into the 4 car. What's he thinking there? Was that equipment failure or what's going on there? And the 4 car there of George Matuszynski. Wow, that's not like Mr. Jones. I don't know what's happened. As we come down to this final stages again, it's pretty great racing, I have to say, through here. If you look at this, 4 wide through these closing stages, and it was pretty good to watch. Keep going again. I want to see this again. Oh, they've almost got 4 wide again. Look at that. On the grass there on the outside. I thought that was going to spell danger for, who's that? The 8 car. Excuse me. And again, Grebstad, look at the angle of that car as we keep running forward into these closing stages. This is where you start to think about braking at that 202 board there. You see Simonson coming up the inside of Grebstad. Oh, no, that's not good. And I thought Grebstad might have lost it here. He ran a little bit deep and wide, clipped that curb on the inside. Not the fastest run there. And I don't know, maybe Simonson lifted there. Discretion being the better part of valour. And he's managed to get away with it. Oh, look through there, that final quarter for Grebstad, the rear stepping out. And look at them, line astern, just like they started this one. They've all come home to finish it. That's fantastic. What's that, 2, 4, 6, 7 cars or thereabouts in it at the end. Fantastic racing. Why don't we take a quick look at our results here now? Hang on, let's go back to live pictures and we'll grab our... Can I grab our results? Is that all right? Let's go results. Oh, well, let's go the race results and hit... There we go. Well, we're here for Sunday Night Lights, Season 20, Round 8 at the Nordschleife. Hawkins Grebstad for Team Ovaltine, taking out a fantastic victory from series leader at the moment, Benny Simonson, sitting there in P2. Fantastic drive from Grebstad. This track, you'd think it was in Norway. That's how well he drives it. I know the flag says it's not Norwegian, but that's neither here nor there. We know that's where he lives. Benny Simonson coming home in P2 from the UK&I Club. Tom Bridle of Delta V Sim Racing coming home for his, what I think is his first podium, actually, if I'm not mistaken. Sebastian Schultz coming back for another Sunday Night Lights race, finishing in P4. Martin Booker there. I think that's his first event here with us and finishing in P5. Not a bad way to go. George Matsushinsky finishing in P6. It was 6 cars across the line at the end. Fantastic racing. Brett McBurney from ANZ grabbing P7. Great drive from Brett. John Scholz, the leading Team Milo driver, he's finished in P8 tonight. Great drive from Scholzy. Tobias Rona, he's joined us here again tonight for P9. Paul Beatty for Team Milo, grabbing a top 10 and some Sunday Night Lights points. Jay McCabe from ANZ in P11. Lee Anderson, he's from UK&I. He's in P12. Andreas Forey, he's joined us for the first time in P13 here tonight. Martin, here we go, Ruick. Sorry, Martin. He's in P14. Yoshitaka Sanada from Japan. He's coming 15th tonight. Russell Clark, after that unfortunate incident, I think it was with Matsusinski, if I'm not mistaken, on the back uphill section there for Team Milo, finished in P16th. Anthony Jones for Team Torpedo. I really don't know what happened there. It looked like he went exit stage right and almost took out Matsushinsky in P17 tonight. And Alberto Trinado, the Iberian driver, didn't actually take the grid, which strikes me as a little strange, Corey. But that's how they finished. Quite a race was had by all, wouldn't you say?
Oh, indeed, Alex. It was definitely one of the more cracking races that we've seen in recent times. And, it's always just that little bit extra special with Nürburgring, just because, you don't really get all the action until the final sector of the lap, which, on most tracks isn't really a thing because the final sector is much smaller and it's all mostly, some kind of sweeping corner or something that goes to the start finish line. So, everyone did a really good job. Not too many people were caught up in incidents. It looks like we only had 3 people that had a tour to the pits, and one of them, I'm guessing, started from the pits or was able to drive to the pits themselves. So, it was a good job by everyone all round. And we're definitely going to be talking about this one for most of the week, I think.
Potentially. Speaking of talking, we've got our race winner in the green room. We might bring him up to say hello, Mr. Håkon Grebstad. GG, my friend. Found a bit of pace here and took out a famous victory. People say it's not great to lead onto that final straight, mate, but you showed 3 laps from 3 that it can be done.
Yeah, I actually don't mind being up front as long as there's multiple cars, because if the guy behind you is then forced to make a move, right? You can't sit there and wait for the last moment, because then the guy behind him is going to go. And yeah, you can kind of control it from the front. And yeah, that's what I've been doing. It's having some success with it.
Yeah, mate. Well, first Sunday Night Lights victory for a while, and certainly had to earn it. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, that was a really great race, really close at the end there.
Yeah,
I was almost able to drop him on the last lap there. Decided to back off a little bit, make him get him a little closer, and then obviously Anthony had incident in the second carousel, which if I knew that was going to happen, I would have just gone full pace.
yeah, mate. It was great to see actually. I mean, there was six odd cars in that 6 or 7 cars in that final pack there at the end, and we've seen that come unstuck famously on a couple of occasions. But everyone managed to get through there really well, which goes to show the standard of the driving out there tonight. But it also makes for great racing.
For sure, for sure. It was a lot of respect out there. Benny just jumping in, barely done any races here, and apparently doesn't know the track. So um, creds to him for being able to get a second here, fight for first.
Yeah, absolutely. Benny been dominating the season, of course, and to come out and tackle this joint with little practice is, yeah, a pretty good indictment of how he's going these days. But congratulations, Hawkon. Really great to see you out there having a great result. Anyone like to give a shout out to tonight?
I just got to thank you guys for putting this on every week, and yeah, everyone on track for all the respect and the good race.
Fantastic. Thanks, Hawkon, and we look forward to talking to you in the coming weeks, mate.
See you soon, guys.
Yeah, Corey, our race winner, Håkon Grebstad, who put on a great show in amongst plenty of good showings here tonight. I thought the whole lot put on a pretty good show here tonight, and Håkon coming out on top.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. And technically, you could say this was a go to woe victory. He started from the pole and he led every single lap. So, Hawkon definitely stamped his authority on this race. And I did call it early when we were talking about it. I said, I reckon that Hawkon's got it. And he didn't let me down. So I'm very happy for that. It was a great race and a well deserved win.
Yeah, 100%. Fantastic job by Mr. Grebstad. Now, I'm just trying to find on my telemetry. There he is. Mr. Paul Beatty going for the full Sunday Night Lights experience, coming up for the post-race interview. Top 10 finish after, let's just say, a handful of laps around here this week, mate.
Yeah, just one or two. I only did it because I like talking to you. That's it now. That was fun, man. I had a good little race with Tobias there, working together, and then he just got away with from me. I made a couple of fluffs, but no, that was good fun.
Yeah, excellent, mate. Well, top 10's nothing to sneeze at around here. Up a couple of positions, 3 in fact. And I'd suggest enjoying yourself around here makes all that time on track this week worthwhile.
Look, part. I mean, the reason I've done so much is because the Skippy's just so much fun to drive around here. It was like the flow of the track's made for the Skippy. It's really good, really good.
Yeah, absolutely, mate, and that's what we enjoy. Well, that's what we like to see: people getting out there and enjoying themselves on track in amongst a high quality field, and that was what was on offer here tonight. And I'm certainly glad you're able to take advantage of it, mate. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Just usual you two for the broadcast. A mate of mine, Irhad, who might be watching, and yeah, maybe see you next week if I don't drive any other cars.
Perfect. All right, thanks, Paul. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, man.
There you go, folks. That was Mr. Paul Beatty, who got out there for Team Milo and had a crack and certainly enjoyed his racing this week from what I saw, and he had plenty of it too. Well, let me just see. Once again, we've got in P2 tonight, Benny Simonson coming out in the one-plated car and putting on another show, Benny. Not many laps around here this week, from what I understand, but certainly, looking to get amongst it right up there till the end there and almost taking out the win.
So, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, mate, we got you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was a fun race, man. I yeah, I had to put the driving line on. I'm not so know my way 110% around here. I only did my first lap yesterday, really. So I did a few hours yesterday, but yeah, that was a wicked race, really. I really enjoyed that. I was playing a bit dirty tactic with Hakan. I think I was just gonna sit in his draft for the part where I knew the track, and then like sector I think it's 7, 8, and 9, which I wasn't 100% comfortable with. I tried to get in front on every lap, so he couldn't break the draft because I knew it's just as long as I could hang on to the last lap, I was in with a shot.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I can tell you, it looked like a lot of fun out there. And as I was saying to Hawken before, 6 or 7 cars into that final series of corners, everyone sort of came out pretty clean skinned from it. Pretty impressed with the driving standard out there as well.
Yeah, it was a really good race. I really enjoyed that one. It's I mean I said on the car chat with the guys, I think it was in the warm up race. I was like, I have no idea what position I want to be in coming onto this back straight, because normally, if you want to be in second, third, or fourth on these draft tracks. I had no clue, so I was just kind of going what happened. But well pleased for Hakan. The fastest and the best man won both races. So yeah, fair play. He was by far the fastest today. So yeah, hats off.
Yeah, awesome work. All right, Benny, mate, thanks once again for joining us. It's great having you here on a Sunday night, our time, and putting on such a great show. So thanks again for joining us, mate. Anyone you'd like to give a shout out to tonight?
No, just thanks for you guys again. So yeah, well done for putting on the show.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Benny, and look forward to seeing you again in the weeks to come.
Yeah, see you guys. Ciao.
There you go, Corey. Benny Simonson. You could hear the grin on his face. That's how good it was out there tonight, I think. A few people walking away from the race tonight with smiles on their dials, as it were.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Alex. And so they should, because this was an incredible race the entire way through. And I reckon he's just so happy that it wasn't just a dominant victory where he went out and he won by 3 or 4 seconds. He had to work for that, and he still came up just that little bit short and fell to second. And it's those close, hard races that you really don't mind finishing second to. But ear to ear smile. You could hear it in his voice. And just saying, there's no shame in having the driving line on around Nords. I remember back when this was still Monday Night Lights, and I was racing in the bottom split. I had the driving line on while you were doing live crosses over to my stream. So there's definitely no shame in it, guys. I just want everyone to know that right now.
Yeah, 100%. Well, you got a pro driver out there who's got the driving light on. Oh, that's hilarious. I think that's brilliant. No, but that just goes to show where people want to get out there and have a good time, and I'm pleased to say that that a good time was had by all here tonight. So, Corey, what's coming up in the week of the Chaotic One this week?
So on Tuesday, we have Fastlane Esports, the Fixed Pro Late Models, and the Open 410 Sprint Cars from the USA International Speedway, which should be a pretty awesome race. I just got my setup guy to give me a good setup for the 410s in that one. On Wednesday, we have the return of the Output Racing League, which will be from the Michigan Speedway. That should be a cracking race in itself. That one will be over on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel, twitch.tv/Aussie_Sim_commentator. Thursday night, we have the return of ODSE, the ASC 410 Sprint Car Series. Unfortunately, due to me having family commitments that came pretty late notice, I didn't race last week. So this week, we'll have another crack at it, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be from Charlotte. So that one will be pretty all right. We also had the return of NIS Friday morning. So I'm looking forward to that. There'll be another nice long race at Michigan. And then on Saturday, we return to the Aussie Sim Commentator channel for the US ANZ round number 9 from the Texas Motor Speedway. And that one should be a good one as well, Alex.
Yeah, brilliant. If not before, we'll be back here next Sunday night. You can find us on the Top Split YouTube channel as well. All the race replays and as well as tonight's race will be posted up there. But until next time, folks, I've been your host, Alex McKellar. On behalf of the chaotic one himself, Mr. Corey Steinhauser, I thank you for joining us both on track and off. And until next time, we say ciao for now.